Yo, Big D back and ready to rumble this Monday evening. Yes, I'm talking Monday Night Football, but not the game in the ATL, not the Rams Falcons game. I'm talking college football playoff quarterfinal. Yes, quarterfinal games. I wish we were talking semifinal in the national championship, but I don't make the schedule. I don't make the schedule. Maybe Josh Pate could make the schedule. Somebody could make the schedule. But I hear Big D ready to break down all things cotton, orange, rose, and sugar bowl. Driving the top production, Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page, my Facebook page, Dylan DYLAN, SCHMITTLEO, and also the Big D 3300 on Twitch. So if you want to, I'm ready to take all comments, good, bad, and ugly. First off, thoughts and prayers for Denny Hamlin and his family going through the awful tragedy at his home today. Wish you all the best, Denny, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. I think I got everyone right. And good times, and hopefully 2026 will bring good times to all of us, and that we all make a pledge to do something good with our lives. So, the first round games, two road teams winning, Alabama, Miami, both won in Norman and College Station respectively. And then the games involving group of 5 teams, Ole Miss and Oregon do what they should do: beat up on Tulane and James Madison. So, what's going to happen on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day? Well, listen to me, and I'll give you all the questions. So, I'll go in order of when the games are. So we'll start Cotton Bowl, Miami, Ohio State, and Arlington, Texas. Last time these teams met in a meaningful playoff game, that was 2003 Fiesta Bowl. Somewhat controversial. Some Miami fans still arguing that wasn't PI at the end of that game. Ohio State fans are saying that's the most blatant PI call in the history of college football. Well, guess what? They get to settle it out on New Year's Eve in Arlington, in a game that I think will be very interesting. Ohio State, the most dominant team going into the Big Ten championship game, but then lost to Indiana. Really didn't play well. Who knows if Ohio State was motivated? Ohio State struggled in the red zone, and frankly couldn't really move the ball. In Miami, obviously Miami lost to Louisville and SMU, but rebounded well and really, I thought, did a great job limiting Texas A&M and Valeria. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because Ohio State's strength matches up very well against Miami's strength. Miami loves to run the ball. I mean, if you saw the game against College and the game in College Station, Mark Fletcher was unbelievable, particularly late. Got 172 rushing yards, averaging 10 yards a pop. Miami ran the ball for 175 yards. While A&M only rushed for 89 yards. Miami wants to run the ball and control the line of scrimmage. The problem is Ohio State's a great run defense, so it's strength against strength. Now, everyone's going to say, well, what about Carson Beck? First off, I think in that game Miami basically put the parking brakes on Carson Beck and you're not going to lose this game throwing a costly pick. I mean, the one touchdown in the game really wasn't a touchdown pass. He just gave it to Malachi Tony. So could have been a rush pass in. Juan Angeles? Yeah, Juan Angeles. Talk about the game in Pasadena before long, but Miami did a great job rushing. And, despite the win in College Station, I thought Carlson. Yes, I said Juan Angeles, not Los Angeles. Juan Angeles. But despite the win, I thought Colson Beck didn't really force it because he didn't have to, because Miami's got a great defense. But in this game, in Jerry World, I think Miami's going to need more Carlson Beck, and I think Carlson Beck's a really good quarterback. He's just streaky because he might throw one or two passes. The question is, will anybody wearing scarlet and gray catch him? But I think Miami matches up well with Ohio State. It's going to be interesting which team dominates. Can Miami run the ball against Ohio State's great defense with Orville Reese, with Caleb Downs? And what will Matt Patricia have up his sleeve to take away Miami's rushing game? So that means if Miami can't run the ball, what else do the Canes have up their sleeves? Does this mean maybe a Malachi Tony who's been big and caught the touchdown pass in college stage? Hi, thank you. Does this mean Malachi Tony? Or will Matt Patricia basically double Tony and say, that guy's not beating me? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Obviously, Marion Daniels. But Miami wants to run the ball and use Tony in all sorts of field. Yeah, I think he had a couple of punt returns. As for Ohio State, I'm intrigued to see what happens with the Buckeyes. Because despite going 12-1, I think questions are going to be asked about Ohio State, particularly running game and the offensive line. Ohio State, Bo Jackson, not the Bo Jackson who played at Auburn, rushed for 83 yards in the Big Ten title game. Frankly, Ohio State didn't really run the ball, and the red zone and the Buckeyes' red zone execution that game was pitiful. For only one touchdown, the turnover pick. Ohio State just 4-12 against Indiana. And I think questions have to be asked. Ohio State went 12-1, but Ohio State only put up 14 points against Texas. Only put up 13 points against Indiana. And Miami's got a really good front line. Maybe not Indiana's front line, but really good front line. So the question with Ohio State, can the Buckeyes run the ball, and will Julian Sain be forcing the throwing? Obviously, Ohio State's got tremendous wide receivers with Jeremiah Smith or Cordell Tate. But Miami's got a really good front four led by Bain, who's probably going to be a top 10 pick. And in many ways, I'm intrigued with one big change with Ohio State's offense. Ryan Day will be calling plays because Ryan Hartland took the head coaching job at South Florida, even though he'll be coaching the wide receivers. I think Ryan Day's going to open up the offense because give Ryan Day time. We saw what Ohio State did against Tennessee in the Tennessee, Oregon in the playoff last year. Saw what Ohio State did against Georgia in the Peach Bowl, and what Ohio State did against Clemson in the 2020 Sugar Bowl, where Justin Fields beat Trevor Lawrence. Now, is Julian Sain as good as C.J. Stroud, Justin Fields? We'll see. But Ohio State's got the wide receivers, and I think knowing there aren't going to be any weather concerns in Dallas, in Arlington, excuse me. I think Ohio State's going to try and throw the ball, but Miami's got a really good front four, so that's going to be an intriguing matchup. Which team wins? That team that wins the line of scrimmage. If Miami's going to have a chance to win the game, Miami must run the ball and then force Julian Saint into a couple of mistakes. I think if Ohio State wants to win the game, force Carson back into mistakes and hit Miami deep. Yeah. Maybe. I think Ohio. I mean, thank you, Stacy Fredericks. By the way, hit like, subscribe on this stream. Check out the Spunky Spectrum Sports and Driving the Top Productions. I also have a trivia question coming up about one of these games. Because I am the trivia savant. And for Ohio State, maybe that loss in the Big Ten title game was a good thing because now, Ohio State didn't have to play, unlike last year, Ohio State didn't have to play a first round game. Coming to this game fresh, what happens with the Buckeyes? Because Ohio State's season starts on New Year's Eve. Ohio State's season not about beating Penn State or Iowa or Washington. It's about winning a national championship. Frankly, Big Ten titles don't even matter in Ohio State. The Buckeyes last won a Big Ten title in what? 2020, I think it was. The COVID year. And yet Ohio State won a national championship last year. So what happens? I think it's a very low scoring game, but I think it's a 17-13 game. I think the physicality Miami played with scared the you-know-what out of me. I've seen Miami play a couple times this year. Holy you-know-what. That Miami front four scares the limit. They will come and slap that crap out of Sam. So, how's he going to fare against that front four? We will find out. So, how about the game just down the road from me? Hard Rock Stadium, New Year's Day, Orange Bowl between Oregon and Texas Tech. By the way, I think we can all agree with Oregon coach Dan Lanning. These games should be on campus because if this game's in Lubbock, oh my goodness, would this atmosphere be crazy. But it's at Hard Rock Stadium, so Oregon and Texas Tech. On paper you would think Texas Tech's got the advantage being rested, but Oregon to me is the most intriguing team playing this week because the Ducks know what this situation is, losing Ohio State last year. Oregon got that monkey off his back being James Madison. True, it was more or less a warm-up game, but still. I'm intrigued whether or not the Ducks can run the ball because this is, again, a matchup of, strength against strength. Oregon's the first or second best rushing team in the country. But guess which team's number one in stopping the run in college football? It's not Georgia. It's not Ohio State. It's not Indiana. It's Texas Tech. So, and against James Madison, the Ducks ran for 200 yards. So, now, in Texas Tech, I guess you would say, arguing for Oregon, Texas Tech hasn't seen Oregon's athletes. They played BYU, and frankly, that was no contest. So, Oregon may be a level up. And for Texas Tech, this is the biggest game the school's faced in a long time. I haven't played a playoff game. Oregon's played playoff games. Dan Lanning knows what this game is like. And will there be a little jittery? Will there be a few nerves for Texas Tech not being in a game like this? Or will Texas Tech come out and be free? easy and play football like they have all year because tell you what, Texas Tech spent a lot of money. And this team is throwing good. Great defensive line. Jacob Rodriguez could have been a Heisman finalist. But Oregon's got a really good quarterback in Dante Moore. Threw for over 300. Couple interceptions, but might be the healthiest the Ducks have been all year. Malachi Benson, Kenyon Sadi, great tight end. The Ducks have running backs to burn. And in this game where it's a go either way game, that depth is going to matter. Oregon's been in these tight spots, played a close, an overtime game, and an overtime wide on Happy Valley. A close go either way game against Iowa, Washington, USC. Texas Tech is not only not seeing a team like Oregon, but probably not seeing a great quarterback. Sam Levin's the best quarterback who Texas Tech played this year, and I believe they lost that game. So, this to me is where playing in a neutral site helps Oregon, even though they have to travel across the country. And in many ways, you wonder with Texas Tech, if they get off the bad start, will the nerves be a problem? Oregon's been in these. Thank you. Thank you. Happy Christmas. And with Tech, you want to bear more than. Excuse me, not bear more. You wonder who is Tech? Oh gosh. Excuse me, not Bear, but who is it? Yeah, Bear Morning. Excuse me, not Bear. Baron Morning. I'm like, Texas Tech beat Bear. How Morning plays in this game. Obviously, great touchdown interception ratio. Dickey over 1,000 yards. Jacob Rodriguez, a tackling machine. I think Bailey's a sack artist. So it's a great Texas Tech defense. But this is the best offense they've faced all year. So what's going to happen? And maybe the game being in Miami compared to Lubbock changes things. Let me see if I can find the question. So I said before I talk about the Rose Bowl, Alabama and Indiana, here's my trivia question. Who did Indiana face in his last Rose Bowl? Good question. Very good question. Well, Indiana last went to the Rose Bowl in 1968, and that Indiana team faced O.J. Simpson and the University of Southern California Trojans. I kid you not, Indiana USC 1968 Rose Bowl. And USC won that game 14-3. John McCain was coaching USC and John Pont was coaching. This is how USC was playing the Pac-8 that day. And now the Big Ten rivals. It's weird. I mean, it's funny how USC and records can be conference rivals. I mean, Stanford and Virginia Tech can be conference rivals. Okay, I get Missouri and Oklahoma because they were both Big 8, now SEC opponents, but still way kinds of crazy. So, Alabama and Indiana. I think this is going to be a fun game in Pasadena. Could be some weather concerns. But the matchup of this game is going to be Alabama's offensive line against Indiana's defensive line. We know Alabama cannot run the ball. They'll try. But Alabama is not going to win the game running the ball. I mean, against Oklahoma, a couple weeks ago, Alabama ran the ball for 25 yards. 25 yards. Excuse me, 28 yards. So average barely a yard a pop. But Ty Simpson was really good, particularly after a shaky start. 18 of 29, 232, 2 touchdowns. I think if Alabama's going to win this game, Ty Simpson's going to have to make big throws on third down, knowing Alabama's inability to run the ball. I think Ty's going to need to have a big game. He's going to have to find Brooks, Horton, Bernard. Maybe Ryan Williams can get out the witness protection program, but a couple of key guys. I think Josh Williams could be a key guy underneath routes. He didn't really play much against OU, but a couple of weeks, I think Williams will be better. Who knows about Jam Miller? I mean, didn't really play much, but I think Miller will be more involved. One key for one key return for the Alabama defense potentially is defense stall LT Overton, the transfer for Texas A&M, has dealt with some health issues, but I think it could be really huge against Fernando Mendoza. Also, we saw what Alabama did against John Mateer, but I think Indiana's probably better quarterback, better coach, probably better defensive line. But Indiana defensive lineman out. But Indiana will be without one of its key guys. I believe Stephen Daly. Let me see. Yeah, Stephen Daly. The defense line was hurt after celebrating the Big Ten celebrating Indiana's win in the Big Ten title game. I think it's one of the leaders. I think he was like first or second in tackles for loss. So that is a huge loss. And in a game where Alabama's offensive line could have issues, Stephen Daly's presence will be sorely missed in a game where, funny or not, Indiana's a 6.5 point favorite. The Hoosiers all expected to win. But now, in a way, it's funny that Alabama's an underdog, and knowing Alabama may have the Dallas Cowboy pedigree, you would say in many ways Indiana should be close to an 8-9 point favorite. But don't underestimate Simpson. Don't underestimate Kalen DeBoer. Remember what Kalen DeBoer and those Washington teams did there. Bo Nix beat them 3 times in 22 and 23. Kalen DeBoer is a darn good coach. And Alabama fans may say, well, he didn't do this. He didn't do this. What happened in the SC title game? This Alabama team's getting healthy, and that coach, that quarterback, those wide receivers, plus Indiana's going to be so nervous playing his first Rose Bowl since the Lyndon B. Johnson administration. And yes, Fernando Mendoza is the best quarterback in college football, no questions asked. But he didn't have a great Big Ten championship game. And Alabama might have 1 or 2 plays. I think weather could be a concern. I think there will be points in this game. Indiana's got a great team. But frankly, I don't think Alabama will be scared. Alabama's been in close games. Indiana's 13-0, deserving number 1 team. Nobody. I mean, Indiana's play close games. Penn State, Iowa, Ohio State. But the question is, can Alabama get close, or can Alabama actually do what Ohio State did and actually beat the number one team in the country? Because it's one thing getting close. I mean, 2002 Buckeyes played everyone close, but nobody beat them. Not Miami, not Michigan, nobody. Will Alabama get close, or can Alabama become the second straight team to be in a number one seed in the Rose Bowl? And for conference pride, SEC versus Big Ten, this one's going to have, the SEC fans are going to be pulling for Alabama. The Big Ten fans are going to be pulling for Indiana. Ooh, there will be some trash talk in New Year's night. The question is, will the smack talk be coming from Roll Tide or Who's Your Daddy? Well, things will be getting rosy in that game, and then to top it off, you know what? I'm nice. How about we put a little sugar on this stream with the Sugar Bowl between Ole Miss and Georgia? Already saw this once in the regular season. Georgia won in a high-scoring shootout. But things have changed. Of course, Lane Kiffin's now the head coach at LSU. And we saw Ole Miss, Pete Golden's now the head coach of the Rebels. Saw Ole Miss destroy Tulane again. Why Ole Miss got to play Tulane, but that's a story for another day. I think the question in this game is whether or not Trinidad Chambliss can repeat his performance in Athens, because he was great, but Ole Miss has got a few issues, not just coaches, but can the Rebels come all back after a great performance, and I'll do it again when Georgia's got 3 weeks to prepare for this game? I don't think Georgia. I've seen Kirby Smart in way too many situations. I don't think Kirby Smart prepared for 1 second for Tulane. I think Kirby Smart would have prepared almost entirely to face Ole Miss. And I think in this game, Kirby Smart's going to have a couple of tricks up his sleeve. And the question is, is this a great Georgia team, a good Georgia team? It's a good Georgia team. It's not a great Georgia team. I don't think this Georgia team compares with the 21, the 22 teams that won the Natty. But honestly, I'm not sure there is a great team this year. I think what Georgia may have, I think Georgia's got a bevy of running backs, and this game becomes a high snap game. I think Georgia's running backs can wear down Ole Miss's defense, and then of course Gunnar Stockton. Hopefully, he'll have a little better Sugar Bowl than he did last year, but of course that was his first start against Notre Dame. He started all year, played well, and Georgia seemingly always wins these close games. Florida, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss for that matter. I honestly, if Lane Kiffin will coach, I think Ole Miss has got a chance. I don't see Kirby Smart losing 2 straight Sugar Bowls unless Ole Miss puts up 40, which may happen. I think this game's got a good possibility of shooting out in the dome. So I know what everybody's wanting. Who does the Big D like to win in Arlington, Miami, Pasadena, New Orleans? I think Ohio State beats Miami 17-13. I think the Ducks beat Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl. I think Georgia beats Ole Miss quite comfortably in the Sugar Bowl and upset Bama over Indiana in the Rose Bowl, which would set up Alabama and Oregon in the in the Peach Bowl, and Georgia and Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. How about Dan Lanning facing away against Alabama and Georgia against Ohio State? Even Indiana, Oregon would be crazy because we saw that game earlier this year in Eugene. So maybe the two best quarterbacks in college football. Oh boy, sign me up. And the Georgia Ohio State rematch from 22. Ooh yeah, maybe the two best programs in the country. Ooh, that'll Big Ten SEC showdown. Sign me up. So thanks for tuning in for this stream. I know it's maybe a little quick, just got it started, but hey, I wanted to put it up, and any questions, if you like this stream, hit subscribe, like, share, comment, good, bad, and ugly. We appreciate it all. Driving to Top Productions, Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page. This is the Big D, wishing everybody happy, healthy, the Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, and you know what? That fireworks on me in 2026 this year.